Welcome back, club members, to the Hollywood Hubbies Film Club. I'm Jeffrey.
And I'm Brandon. Last week we did our review of Vincent Minnelli's Meet Me in St. Louis. Please go back, give it a listen, especially because it's funny how we're jumping from Vincent and Judy's film into a film starring her daughter.
Right? The film that created Liza.
Right? Quite the
To the
talented
film,
family.
to the film that made Liza a star.
Yeah, seriously.
For those of you who are just joining us, we're reviewing AFI's top 25 movie musicals of all time. At the end of every episode, we are spinning the wheel to give us our movie for the next episode. That way, you can watch along with us.
Willkommen, bienvenue. Welcome to this week's episode as we review Bob Fosse's 1972 film, Cabaret. Cabaret is an American musical film directed by Bob Fosse, written by Jay Presson Allen, with music and lyrics by Kander and Ebb. The film was adapted from the 1966 stage musical written by Joe Mastroff. The original story was based on a play by John von Druten named I Am a Camera, and a novel by Christopher Isherwood named Goodbye to Berlin.
The film stars Liza Minnelli, Michael York, Helmut Griem, Fritz Wepper, Marisa Berenson, and reprising his role from Broadway as the MC, the one and only Joel Grey.
In the traditional manner of musical theater, most major characters in the stage version sing and express their emotions and advance the plot along. In this film, however, the musical numbers are almost entirely diegetic and take place inside the club. Diegetic music is now known more being called source music, which is music that is part of the fictional world, portrayed in a narrative, and is knowingly performed or heard by the characters.
Come on, Merriam-Webster. I'm just kidding. So, for example, in The Sound of Music, the song Edelweiss is diegetic, since the character, Captain Von Trapp, is performing the piece in front of other fictional characters at a gathering. Or in Showboat, the song Bill is diegetic because the character Julie is singing it during a rehearsal in an actual nightclub. There are also musicals that blend diegetic and non-diegetic sources, such as The Phantom of the Opera, where some songs are performed at the actual opera house and some are not. They instead simply move the plot along or can be inner monologues.
There is a book by Robert Gordon that came out not that long ago called The Theater of Kander and Ebb, which delves deeper into their avant-garde musical style. It breaks down Cabaret, Chicago, Kiss of the Spider Woman, and even their involvement with one of my husband's faves, Liza with a Z.
Oh my god, I love that movie so much.
Also, there is a YouTube channel that I watched and listened to a couple of these factoids. He breaks it down really, really well. His name on YouTube and Instagram, we'll make sure that we drop his information. He's known as Musical Theater Writer Guy. So at Musical Theater Writer Guy, thank you for your breakdown of diegetic examples and sources, because it was cool to like deep dive into that.
Yeah, I never knew what that was called.
Well,
but I'm not a musical theaterologist.
It's interesting because you have a story, before we move on, you have a story about seeing a musical with a friend that actually Musical Theater Writer Guy mentions about sometimes people not having that imagination to just kind of like open their minds and understand that music can just happen.
Yeah, because I mean, if you think about like 2003 when Chicago came out, I feel like one of the big reasons that it helped make musical movies popular again is because it was completely palatable for everybody, because they didn't just break into song and dance in a scene. They, using Roxy and her imagination to kind of go into that helped people go, okay, this is just a musical number on the Cabaret stage or the Chicago stage. But then a few years later, we have Dreamgirls that came out, and I went to go see that with one of my good friends. And what's so funny about that movie is that the whole first hour, or let's say 45 minutes to an hour, starts off like similar to Chicago or to like Cabaret, where all of the musical numbers are on stage or practices or on TV, whatnot. Like it's all actual performances. And then you get into their argument song,
Mhm.
which just honestly, I don't know if it's that aggressive in the actual stage musical, but it comes out of nowhere in the movie.
Is it they're we're a family tree?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's what I mean. Like right before she finds out that she's not going to be the lead and that yeah. We are a family like a giant tree.
Yeah, that one.
What a stupid lyric, by the way. But I mean, no offense, but
So very similar to Phantom. Dreamgirls is a blend of both worlds.
it's a blend of both worlds, but I think that Phantom kind of does it a little bit better because in between the stage performances, they immediately go into non-diegetic music. And so you're just, I mean, it really is like an operetta. There are no or very, very few actual scenes that are not sung. I remember going back to where Dreamgirls came from, or like where the story came from. We're sitting in the theater and 45 minutes
not me, a friend of his.
Yeah, my friend. I don't know, we kind of veered off, but I'm back to the story. Me and my friend were watching Dreamgirls. 45 minutes in, they start singing their argument or their disagreement, and she turns to me and she goes, "Wait, this is an actual musical?" And I said, "Yeah." She goes, "Oh, I did not know that. I thought that this was just a movie about a girl group." And like she hated it from then on. Like she could not get into it. It just threw her off. It was not the business for her. So, you know, musicals aren't for everybody. And I feel like kind of adding in that element of just making it stage performances makes it more realistic for someone, and it makes them able to digest it and palate it, and you know,
in a different way.
Yeah, they're like, okay, this isn't awkward.
In 1995, Cabaret was selected by the Library of Congress for preservation in the United States National Film Registry as being deemed culturally, historically, and aesthetically significant.
Among its accolades, the film was nominated for 10 Academy Awards, winning 8 of them, including Best Sound, Best Score, Best Editing, Best Cinematography, Best Art Direction, Joel Grey for Best Supporting Actor, Liza Minnelli for Best Actress, and Bob Fosse for Best Director. Best Adapted Screenplay and Best Picture that year went to none other than The Godfather. I mean, what a year.
That is pretty crazy, right?
That's an exhausting year for the like voting.
I know.
For the Academy. I'd be like, what do I pick?
Like, geez.
I mean, I know what I would pick, but I know what a lot of other people would
It's
pick.
tough.
So,
had you ever seen this movie before, babe? And if so, what is your first and fondest memory of it?
I honestly can't tell you the first time I watched this movie. I don't know what came first for me, the chicken or the egg, like Cabaret or Liza with a Z.
Oh, okay.
Because I remember specifically watching or buying a copy of the DVD of Liza with a Z with like at Borders or Barnes and Noble or something, and it was that glittery cover. And I was like, this looks really cool. I know, obviously I know who Liza Minnelli is, but it was this big hoopla when that came back out on DVD because it had been lost. This TV special had been lost for years. And I think from what I remember, like Liza Minnelli had it in a box in storage somewhere, and they were able to like put it all back together and release it, which is really cool. Yeah, so I don't remember if I saw that first or if I saw Cabaret, but I know it's one of your favorites. So maybe when I told you that, you probably had me watch it.
Oh, maybe. You think you were that far along in your adult life that you didn't see it when you were younger?
I definitely didn't see it when I was younger.
Got it. Okay. So definitely an adult life movie for you. Which is probably a responsible age to watch this film. Well, at least to understand it.
Yeah, I mean, there were probably a lot of songs that you really liked as a kid, but you probably had no idea what was going on.
Yeah, for sure. Absolutely. Well, I guess it's, safe to say that it's fairly obvious this is one of, if not my favorite movie musical of all time.
I'm going to agree with you because while we were watching the movie, I looked over to you and you were reciting lines. And in my mind, I was going, I didn't know that he like liked this movie as much as he did. Like, I know that it's one of your favorites, but I've never heard you say it's like, this is my favorite movie musical of all time.
It may very well be close to my favorite movie of all time. I mean, it's up there in my, top 10 films of a lifetime because I remember growing up with this film as we talked about before. This was one of those 70s musicals that just lived on in my house, and I had this record of my mom's, and it just brings back all those core memories. Singing this song with high school theater friends, and doing a performance of I did a performance of Money Money at like a theater like talent show that we did to raise money. But this is one of my all-time faves. Joel Grey for me is definitely an inspiration as an artist. Many of the roles he has played, if I was a musical theater actor, those are definitely a lot of roles he played would be roles in my career I would have wanted to play. But I won't go too much into it. I love this film. I love everything about it, especially technically. I think it's a masterpiece when it comes to its cinematography.
Yeah, I was going to say, would you call it a perfect film?
I would call it a perfect film, yes. But yeah, there you have it. I love Cabaret.
There's your backstory.
All right. Well, as we jump into the plot here, remember, as we stated before, the songs are performed inside of the Kit Kat Club. So we are going back and forth from the real world journey, the real world plot, jumping into, it's all the real world. I shouldn't say it like that. There's no imagination.
You mean we're going from outside
plot to the Kit Kat Club that connects the songs to what's going on throughout the plot of the movie. 1931, Berlin is where our story starts, and we open inside of the Kit Kat Club, and the opening song we have here is called Willkommen. What are your thoughts on this opening of the movie?
I think that this song perfectly encapsulates like what you're getting yourself into when it comes to this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Like within the first 5 minutes, this isn't your run-of-the-mill Hollywood MGM big budget like grand musical theater experience. Like this is gritty, raw, dark. And that's one of the things that really jumped out at me is I love the raw quality of these performances and the kind of graininess of the film. What it reminded me of immediately was, I think the kind of gritty, grainy quality that you get, maybe it's just from the Blu-ray that we were watching. Maybe it didn't show up like that on like back in 1972 on the big screen. But my interpretation watching it now, it kind of looks like you're watching a documentary at some points. Like the camera angles, it almost looks like somebody could have been holding a handheld camera from the audience pointing up to some performance at a cabaret in Berlin. It gives me similar to like The Queen in 1968, which was the documentary on it was like the drag queen beauty pageants, the pageant queen documentary, and similar to Paris is Burning in 1990, which was about ballroom culture. That like, something about that kind of gritty downtown vibe gave me a little bit of this gritty cabaret Berlin vibe in a weird way.
No, I could totally see that. Even some of those interior shots of the apartment complex, it really there must have been tighter shots with handy cams that they had to be using, not modern day cameras, but I'm saying these film cameras back then, they must have had to get them into pretty tight spaces, because I think you're right, a lot of the angles they choose, it's just more raw.
Yeah, it's not your typical camera angle where they're going to pick the perfect centered, the person's directly in the center, the lighting is perfect. Nothing about it is kind of flashy, like everything needs to be perfect. It's like you're looking under somebody's leg, you're looking from the side of a chair, you're looking like up into their nose. I think just
we both even kind of gasped at one scene because the camera work of like the lampshade is covering like half of like Sally's face during one of the shots, and it's just perfect. Like you said, nothing has to be perfect, and it just looks so good.
Yeah, it kind of gives you a fly on the wall feeling sometimes, like like you are watching something so intimate.
I see that. Yeah, I love this intro. I think it's great. I love the introduction to the band. I love the introduction to all of the Kit Kat Club dancers.
Maybe you know the name, but who is the dancer wearing the sailor outfit? Because that outfit gives me life.
Mousy, I think. I think that's Mousy.
Well, Sailor Mooney, she is.
Yeah,
I love her. That outfit was my favorite.
Our story opens up in the Kit Kat Club in Berlin. A young and openly promiscuous American, Sally Bowles, played by Liza Minnelli, who is a performer at the Kit Kat Club. This is where we get introduced first to Sally. We cut to our next number, which is Mein Herr, performed by Sally. What are your thoughts on this song?
Again, perfect introduction to Sally. Like, you are immediately drawn to her. She's so talented, and it kind of, but before I get into the song, I really want to talk about the frustration I have with people talking about this movie and talking about the musical. So the musical of Cabaret, Sally Bowles is a singer. Now, I'm not talking about her being British or American. I know in the stage play, Sally's British, and in the movie they switched her to being an American. That is completely fine to me. I would rather Liza just be Liza and be a vibrant American. What always gets me is in the musical, Sally is not a talented singer. She is a fifth-rate cabaret singer. She's fun, she's cute, she can hum a few bars, if you will, but she's not what you would call a talented singer. In the movie, you now have Liza Minnelli, who is without a doubt one of the greatest performers and singers of our time. People seem to forget that they fixed this in the movie, and at some point Sally does say, I know I'm a good singer, but I don't want to be a singer. I want to be an actress.
Correct.
In the musical, she just wants to be famous and she wants to be a singer. But I swear there are so many people that forget this. And you will go online and you will watch clips of either the original musical or the original actress that played Sally, the original revival, whatnot. And people are like, oh, she's just not that good. She's not Liza Minnelli. And it's like, that's the point.
Yeah, exactly.
She's not supposed to be good. Even to the point where, here's my handy dandy little book that I read sometimes before we film, The Hollywood Musical. 1,344 films described and illustrated. I went to the cabaret section. You would think this book would have its stuff together, but look how it describes Sally. It says, Liza Minnelli cast as Sally Bowles, a fifth-rate American singer eking out a living in a decadent, sexually ambiguous milieu. The central character sprang vividly and memorably to life. The fact that the hugely talented Miss Minnelli was called upon to play a performer with no conspicuous ability whatsoever and got away with it without throwing the entire plotline off balance was a remarkable testament to her unique qualities as an actress and as a star presence. I'm like, Mr. Clive, whoever you were back in the day when you did this book. This is a line in the script.
They fixed it.
They literally fixed it so that people would go, oh, Liza Minnelli's playing it, and it's okay that she's a good singer.
Because she wants to be an actress.
Yeah.
She wants to be more than that.
So even somebody who wrote a book about Cabaret got it wrong. But you also see this happen so much online. Like, people constantly compare these stage actresses to Liza.
Mhm.
And we have seen some pretty amazing live Sallys that do have great voices. But if she doesn't, it's okay.
Yeah.
Because she's supposed to be fifth
rate.
rate.
Mm-hmm.
So
interesting.
I digress.
Mhm.
But going back to Mein Herr, she sings it great because she's a great singer.
Mm-hmm.
And it's another really great scene. The Fosse choreography
with
the
the chairs,
outfit.
the Fosse chairography.
Oh my god! Just it's perfection.
Yeah,
it
the
really
shapes
is truly perfection.
The shapes they're making on stage with the chairs, the camera angles. Once again, we were saying the close-ups. I mean, it really is a fantastic piece.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought that she was so cute, mimicking the MC's lines in the back in the dressing room when she's getting ready. It's almost like she knows it so much, like by heart. But not only that, she's using it as how much time does she have left before she needs to get out there. Like, that's why she's like going through it in her head, because she's like, okay, at this moment I got to get moving. Okay, I'm here I am. And that last minute, like passing the cigarette to the stagehand is like, just, it feels so real. I just thought that part was so cute.
I honestly never took it like that. That's very interesting.
Like
almost
timing?
like, yeah, it was like her cues. Like, I need to get to the stage. I kind of always just took it as like, it's the same show every night. And like, even though she's not over it, she's kind of like, I know this show from the back of my hand, and that she was just going along with it, because like, oh, he's gonna do his joke, yuck. Like,
well, I definitely think that too.
Yeah,
I definitely think that
I
too.
see that, but I definitely see your point too, that she's like, okay, do I have my makeup on? Is my outfit right? Yep. Okay, let me start scuttling over to the stage.
Now, because this is Sally's introductory song in the film, we do have a song that it did replace that was in the original stage version, and that song is Don't Tell Mama. That is definitely one of the most probably missed songs in this film. I think, later on, current stage musicals, of course, they add both the songs into the movie. I mean, into the newly revival show.
And they do it so perfectly too, because it's like they introduce her with one of the songs, and then they have her, after she's fired, she has to sing this other song. And I can't remember, I think she opens with Don't Tell Mama, and then she leaves with Mein Herr, and she sings it with such or the versions I've seen, the Sally will just sing it with such aggression because she's pissed. She's like, I'm freaking fired, and this is my last song. So I think they've integrated the two songs together so perfectly on stage.
Nice.
I will say that watching it this time and taking notes on it, I did notice that Don't Tell Mama is playing on the vinyl when they are in Sally's room at some point. So they did sneak it in there as a little Easter egg, and I was like, oh, that's so awesome. Like, I love that they did add it in there.
It's funny that you say that, because they do that again later with another song as well. So that is really cool that you say that.
I think I know what song you're talking about, and it kind of becomes their theme. If you
think about it. It does become their theme. And hello, Rob Marshall, who like, we get it. We know that he, like, Chicago, like, this inspired Chicago, but he does the same thing in Chicago. Well, there'll be songs playing on the radio that are from.
I mean, why not?
Yeah, like you said, you've said it before, babe. You've got the music. You already have it. You may as well use it in some capacity.
Yeah, I think I said that in our Chicago review, because it's like, why write new score if you could just add these songs into the score, and then it's going to be Easter eggs for these, musical theater fiends that are just hungry for these songs and probably pissed that they're gone. So then when they go and watch the movie, they're like, oh, and there it is.
They get a little sprinkling of it, right?
A little, sorry that we cut it out, but here you go.
So, also at the beginning of the film, after we are introduced to Sally, we are now introduced to new British arrival, Brian Roberts, played by Michael York. He is moving into the same boarding house / apartment building that Sally lives. He's, reserved, academic, writer vibes, which is supposed to be a juxtaposition of who Sally is, and like the type of energy she
stuffy.
has.
He's kind of a stuffy guy, and she's kind of like this, whatever comes day by day, like Life is a Party, Life is a
Totally.
Cabaret.
When
See what I did?
when they first meet each other, I do have to say the way that Liza delivers her lines from this script, that very first scene when they are between the doors where she has it chained up, it's like this that this role was just, it's so written for her. It's so written for her because she just glides through this screenwriter's lines. She just impresses me so much as an actress in this film.
I totally agree. I think that she is Sally. She embodies Sally. She is, when you meet her, you like, whether you are like her or not like her, you would want to be her friend.
Mm-hmm.
You would want, or even if you think she's a little too crazy and you probably wouldn't go party with her and be her friend, you would want to have a long dinner with her and sit down and have her tell you her stories, and then you could go home and go to sleep
and dump her off at home.
Okay, bye. Like, I would have dinner and then, you know, hang out, and then when she's like, okay, I'm gonna go and party the night away, I'd be like, well, you go do that, girl. I'll hear about it next week.
She has a little phrase she uses throughout the movie too, you guys, that's divine decadence, when she explains like her like green nail polish, when she gets a cigarette finally after bumming it from somebody, when she's having a Worcestershire and egg yolk shot. But yeah, it's just one of those like cute little sayings that she said. I had to throw that in there.
And I think that their chemistry together, just their yin and yang, their introvert and extrovert, is just, it works so well off each other. Michael York, so not my type, but he's so sexy in this movie. Like, every time I see him, I'm just like, God, he's so handsome. His voice is so sexy.
So my type.
That's the thing.
So my type.
He's so your type. And like, even from the side, he has like the little bump in his nose and everything. I'm like, okay, this is my husband's type.
British Ken doll, you know? Yeah, absolutely.
He's super dreamy. He's perfect for the role. I think that, you know, as we go further into the script, or into the movie, and you get to know more about him, I think he embodies the role so well, because he does have a mix of masculine energy, but he still kind of has that kind of fragility, and, you know, I don't want to say feminine, but he kind of has like this fragility mixed with his masculinity that kind of works so well with the role that he's playing.
I completely agree with you on that. Yeah, I mean, there's just something sexy about him. You're right.
He really is. Like, oof. Yeah, he's perfect for the role.
People probably know him most from Austin Powers. Isn't that funny?
Yeah, and again, he probably got that role for his voice as well. Gosh. His voice is perfect in that role. He just has a great screen voice.
He also was in Zeffirelli's Romeo and Juliet as well. That's where I first got googly eyes for him, was from that movie.
Oh my God. That's another one of your childhood films that I had never seen before that you introduced me to. I was like, I'm a Baz Romeo and Juliet kind of guy. And you're like, well, I'm a Zeffirelli?
Still, I mean, I still love Baz's Romeo and Juliet, but not like the 1967 or 8, one of those years. So Sally introduces Brian to Fritz, who needs English lessons. Brian basically is teaching English lessons to people because it's his way to earn a living. She knows Brian needs clients, and so she's gonna basically find them for him, because as we said before, Brian is the more reserved, quiet type. He's not going to go out there and be ambitious about getting gigs, these like tutoring gigs. So Sally's like, from the very beginning, Sally's like rounding up these.
She's a hustler.
Oh yeah, big time. She's rounding up the pupils for him. She's like working the room for both of them at this point. Meanwhile, the MC is hosting a mud wrestling match at the same time. That absolutely looks brutal, that mud wrestling match. This is our first glimpse of what is going on in regards to the Nazi regime and the club, because they use this as a moment of, they're using this fight between these two wrestlers, and the club manager is basically kicking out one of the Nazis that was inside of the club.
Is this the first glimpse of the like Nazism
Yes,
that we're
yes.
seeing in the movie?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You know, the MC even does that whole like mud Hitler mustache, like to mock him.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, this is basically like our first moment of getting that glimpse that there is a something.
A storm is brewing.
Yes, that exactly, that a storm is brewing. Sally tries to seduce Brian over the course of, what is it, like a few days? I mean, it's like a slow courtship. Walking,
it's a hilarious courtship, if you ask me.
walking home together at night. During the day, they're walking around the neighborhood doing their shopping. She really is mainly interested in herself, though. There are a lot of lines written in there that, even though she asks him things like, how was your day, how are things going with you,
Mm-hmm.
she always brings it back to herself. It is a way of showing how she is quite self-centered.
Yeah, she's got main character syndrome. She
Big
makes
time.
it all about herself.
Big
But it's
time.
entertaining to watch, but I could understand it getting tiresome at some point.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. Back at the apartment, she lays it on pretty thick and tries to get cozy with him after she has a shower. And when she goes into his room, she, you know, kind of like drops her robe off of her, or like opens up her robe, kisses him, puts his hand on her boob.
Yeah, I was gonna say that, like, at first she just tries to kind of lay there and look
Right.
sexy, and then she's like, I literally have to grab your hand and like put it on my boob and be like, here's my stomach, here's my boobs, and like it's not working. Nothing's brewing. Nothing's brewing downstairs.
Brian finally tells her that he had 3 previous occasions with women before, but they had all failed. It's really like hinting to her that, you know, he's not really going for girls anymore, even though they're not stating the obvious. They have to dance around it a bit in this movie. And you know, they become fast friends, of course. Brian continues to kind of witness Sally's bohemian lifestyle over like a few days. I mean, Sally even very quickly says, like, you're my best friend in the whole wide world. I'm like, Sally, you've known this dude like less than a week. Like, what? But I guess it's what a Judy is, right?
Yeah. What I love is that I love her acceptance and almost frustration of the whole thing. Like, you know, she's like, it's not working, it's not working, it's not working. Okay, do you even like girls? And he's like, no. Like, he kind of confesses it in his sheepish way. And then her reaction is like, why didn't you just tell me?
Yep.
And not just like, part of it was almost like, did you think I would care? And the other part is like, why do you have me over here fawning over you and like trying so hard to get you in bed if you don't even like it? So it was a very cute, it was the perfect Sally reaction because she made it all about herself.
Yeah, and she even like closes out their friendship scene by giving him a smooch on the lips. Like, I think that's for this time where their characters are right here, not the growth that happens between them later, but for their characters out right here, I do think you're right. It's definitely very like that welcoming
she's
vibe,
giving
that bond between them. I'm giving you the okay, like,
she's giving ally energy. She's like, absolutely. I don't care that, like, at that point in 1931, she could have very well just been like, ew, gross, bye. But she was like, no, I don't care. But you know, you should have told me from the get-go. So it was very cute. It's a cute scene.
It is a cute scene. One of Liza's best lines, I think, in this film is when she tells him, she asks him, you know, do you sleep with girls or don't you? And he's like, you don't ask people those types of questions, Sally. And she's like, I do. I love that line so much. The delivery of it is perfect, and it's so her character, you know.
Yeah, you learn very early on,
up just talking about how great she is in this movie.
You learn very early the type of character that Sally is. She's not she's not doing any of the social norms. She's not sitting at tea and asking about the weather. She is gonna,
Mm-hmm.
whatever's on her mind and whatever pops into her brain, she's just gonna say it out loud,
Mm-hmm.
regardless of if you care or not. And it's exciting to watch. It's fun to watch.
When they're out and about on one of their dates, there's this moment where they're under the train, like the train like bridge. It's like an overpass where the train passes, and she basically is yelling out to Brian, like, just scream, like, don't you ever just want to like scream and let it all out? And I think that that is a great, you know, example of the type of wild person that she is and how she doesn't hold back. That scene I really love because there's such a quick cut from that intense train moment of it passing over them and then, like, you know, yelling to the MC back at the club who is doing that like lederhosen dance and like smacking the girls around on their face, and also
Yeah, it's like the
cutting
slap dance. They're
the
like,
slap dance, yeah. And it's cutting from that to the Nazis beating up the club manager in the alley at the same
they get
exact
their
time.
revenge.
So yeah, the editing techniques they use there for you cinematography fans, that is definitely a moment to watch for, because the way that the sound cuts and the scene cuts is just really, really cool.
Yeah, I think they do these numbers, even if it's not the lyrics that match up with the actual scene, these performances are always connected some way to what's happening in the real world.
Right.
Similar, I know it's going to be another really random example, but it kind of reminds me how when you talk about the TV show Buffy the Vampire Slayer, and how they always say the vampires and the monsters are like metaphors for what's happening in the real world, like growing pains and teen angst and problems that you have when you're going through life. And it's like, these are representations of what's happening. It, like, they always kind of match up,
Right.
like, this is a slap dance,
It's
and
their way of
they're you know,
it's a comparison to them beating him up in the alley, basically. Yeah, I see that for sure. By the way, she gets Brian another paid gig translating a book, a dirty book by one of the other tenants that are in the house. I guess I mean, it is a house,
it's
right?
someone's
It's a
house.
Yeah.
Is it a boarding house?
It's a boarding house for sure. That is how it's described, but it's just interesting because it kind of gives house vibes, but then sometimes it does give apartment vibes, you know?
I think it obviously is just this woman's, or I won't say obviously, I think it is this woman's house.
Yeah, and
that to make money, she was like, let's put a lock on every door
For
and
sure.
just sell out the rooms, and
For
this
sure.
is how I'm going to pay my rent.
Kind of like in a lot of those 40s, 50s movies, there are those like houses for girls that, like, when you move to New York and things like that.
It's probably the same idea. It was probably somebody's house.
Yeah, seriously, what would Brian do without Sally at this point? She's just like, she's like bringing in the
She'd have
clients.
no money. She literally got him. She basically helped get him the room at the house, didn't she? Or did he already have the house? Did he already have the room?
He was there to check out the room, and then like she sold it, basically. She sold it to him, like, oh, you got to move in here. It's great. Like, you're gonna like love everybody. But everyone she's bringing in, I mean, clearly she doesn't mention that she's getting a finder's fee from him, but later on, when he mentions something about get out of the room because I've got clients, he does say, I need this. We need this, Sally. So she is getting some kind of a cut from it. He's spoiling her with some of the money.
Yeah.
Or maybe she really did have a percentage finder's fee. Knowing Sally, she did. Brian also has another new pupil besides Fritz, which is Natalia Landauer, who comes from a very wealthy family. Fritz basically begs Brian to introduce him to Natalia and sort of, you know, set them up.
Natalia is played by Marisa Berenson, and Fritz is played by Fritz Wepper. I love that he just got to keep his name.
Why not, right?
I mean, it's pretty awesome.
Do you
and Natalia's...
I was gonna say, do you want to? Oh, I didn't know if you were gonna go into it. I was like, do you want to just talk about how you are just gobsmacked over Marisa's beauty in this film.
Oh, I have that written down. I think from the first moment that you see Marisa on screen as Natalia, stunning, beautiful. I mean, the 90s heroin chic eyebrows that are like 5 hairs that are like
didn't even notice that.
I understand that the 90s were way later, but it just brought me back to that like thin 90s eyebrow that, you know, everything in style is so cyclical, but it just reminds me of those eyebrows that when we were kids, and these supermodels and these actors just had these tiny little bitty eyebrows. And when you see, I think in maybe not this first scene, but there's a later scene where you see her eyes, and I swear I don't think I've ever seen green eyes as green as her eyes. They are like this pristine emerald green. Like, they looked like contact lenses to me. They looked like forest contact lenses, but yeah, I think just a stunning beauty.
Her softness too really lends to that juxtaposition against Sally, you know?
Yeah, Sally is young, but she's a broad.
Yeah, dark liner, heavy on the shadow. Natalia is not.
Yeah, not just their looks, but even just their personalities. But like, she gives rich. Like, her family, I think they said it made their money in department stores, and it looks like she shops there. Like,
absolutely.
The clothes are pristine. She definitely was brought up in money and has that air to her. She's very
her gloves, the car, I mean,
the way she speaks. I mean, even though she's learning English, just the way that she has conversations is very societal norms. The way that Sally doesn't speak is exactly how Natalia does speak.
Yeah, the only one that really can match her energy on that is Brian, because Fritz is just as, I mean,
he's trying.
He is trying. Yes, good point. Sally interrupts their tutoring session into what is my husband's favorite scene in the movie, with this really just funny, chaotic coffee and tea service scene that they have.
Yeah.
And
going right into it, I just think it's funny because like how I was saying that Natalia's clothes are like probably the peak of fashion of that day. She's probably wearing the newest clothes, the newest hats, gloves, skirts, blouses. I feel like Sally walks into the scene and she looks like someone who wants to be rich and just doesn't quite have it. Like, it comes off kind of gaudy. Like, I think in her mind, Sally with this big bow on her head and this big scarf, I think she thinks she's giving high society, but it's giving she has no clue, or she's just trying her darndest to fit in, or like to fit in with this society that she's not part of. And I love it though. It's so gaudy and it's so loud, and the yellow is so bright, and it's just it's again, it's just typical Sally.
I know you love that scene so much. So
are we actually talking about the scene too, like the them talking about like Bumson?
Yeah, totally.
Like,
it's just they do so well. All of the actors do so well in that scene, with two of them not really knowing English that well and trying to put things together.
Liza's just annoyed. She's sitting there pissed.
They're fawning over her. Both the boys are like, here's your cup. Oh, would you like a pound cake? And she's like, I'm not eating between meals, thank you. And Sally's like,
I am. That is also hilarious because I don't know if it was a mistake or not, but like when he throws the bread at her and it like falls, and she just kind of like picks it up and puts it back on her plate,
right?
I'm just she's so offended, but it's so perfect because it's like she's literally like, she's the odd one out. Like, they would rather her not be there, and they're treating her that way. And the bread is, or that cake or that bread that falls on her and like falls off the plate, it's so good that if it was not written, it's obviously that's the reason why that scene was kept.
Then she just like gives up too. She finally just gets up to go to the bar and like get herself some brandy. She's like, forget this,
because he's like, don't drink right now, we're about to have an English lesson. And she's like, okay, fine. And then finally she just can't take it anymore, and she goes and gets her drink. So she's like, whatever, I don't care anymore.
Great scene. Once again, great acting scene, because you want to point those scenes out, that it's not just the musical numbers that are so great, you know?
And I think after that scene, I think I quoted schooling, please.
No,
I think I said it like 10 times because
yeah, they're talking about like syphilis and shit like that. Like, oh,
they talk about
gosh.
syphilis, and then
Good Lord.
yeah,
Too funny.
It's hilarious. Schooling, please.
From here, we do get a montage that they go on a few double dates together, like bike riding down at like the park and stuff, and you can tell that that they're trying to get it that Natalia is asking Sally more about like her family, or what did your father think about you moving out here to Berlin, and it shows the bond between them growing a bit, so that they're all building this camaraderie. Later on, we see Brian consoling Sally, because Sally was getting ready earlier one day to go meet her father, but they don't go into it very deep until Brian consoles her and confronts her, because her dad basically canceled on her via a telegram that showed up to the restaurant. And so it's this way of just creating a different type of bond between Brian and Sally, because is it pushing them into almost like the lovers part of things now? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's creating a different higher stake, that it's something more personal now.
I do love seeing this scene. Before we get into the scene, I wanted to also say that this is before this happens is where we hear the first time we hear Marriage playing on the piano.
Oh, cool. Okay. Yeah.
So
Got
when
it.
they're in like the main living room area, I believe,
Got
of the boarding house, and someone I don't think it's a vinyl playing, because it's just piano. I mean, obviously they could have had vinyls.
No, I think you're right,
piano.
though.
I think someone's actually playing it.
I think you're right.
But yeah, so we get a little Easter egg of Marriage for the first time.
Married.
Married?
Married.
Sorry, I'm not good with names.
No, it's fine.
But
you knew exactly what it was.
Yeah, but going into this scene with Sally going to meet her father, I love it so much, and I think I said to you while we were watching it, I wish that more of these scenes were highlighted when people talked about this movie. I think that you see almost every time you see something about Liza Minnelli in this movie, you either see her on the chair in the black outfit for Mine Hair, or you see her in like her purple disco outfit for Cabaret at the end. Like, those are kind of iconic moments that people always reference. I know it's also because it's a song, but I wish that people would highlight more how complex and beautiful her acting is in this, because Sally really acts like nothing phases her. She is just going through life, and she could care less about how people think of her. But the veneer really cracks when it comes to her father.
Yep.
And it's that one person that she wishes she could get approval and acceptance from, and she just can't get it. And she goes into this scene, and she's literally changing herself back to what she thinks her dad wants: less makeup, very conservative outfit. She takes her green nail polish off.
Yeah,
and she's
which
so
they
happy.
highlight that. They do.
She's
highlight
like,
that
look,
in close-ups.
the hands of a
nun.
And she's just so excited to go see him, and she wants to get his approval. And then when he comes back, she is just completely defeated. And she's so hurt that he has just let her down again. And I love when you get a scene like this where I don't think I could have looked away, but I don't think that there's a cut during her monologue. And just seeing the buildup of these tears in her eyes, these big saucer eyes that she has, and these tears are just ready to just overflow into her eyes. And, it's really when you get to see the real Sally, and how vulnerable, how much she wants acceptance from this person, even though the veneer is that she could care less. And it's so beautiful to watch. I mean, it's so sad and heartbreaking, but to see Liza Minnelli in this role perfect. She is perfection. The acting, it gives you chills. Well-earned Best Actress.
Very well-earned
Best Actress. And this is coming from a Diana Ross fan.
Very well-earned.
So I don't care what anybody says. Liza got that acting win for a reason. And just watch this scene and you will see why.
So they become like quick lovers.
He consoles her and he gives her a big smooch, and then
and then here we go. And there's a joke that they make about being, well, those 3 girls you were with were obviously the wrong 3 girls because Sally was able to get things working. So
should we talk a little bit about what I mean? I know that they really play this character off as, anytime you read about this movie, they always talk about Brian being bisexual. I did not write it, but the way I interpret it is I really feel like when I watch it that Brian is a gay man. And he had these experiences with these other women and it didn't work because he just wasn't into women. And this relationship with Sally is the closest he's probably ever been to a person in his his British stuffy life. This is probably the most real he's ever gotten with someone. And I feel like that's why it kind of turned into a love and that he was able to be so intimate, because I do think that he loved her, but I think that he loved Sally. I don't think that it was he's bisexual and he loves women. Now, I don't want anyone to get upset. This is just my interpretation. This is how I see him, and I just, do you understand what I'm saying, or how do you feel
Brian
about that?
The exact same way. I see him the exact same way. Okay. I wouldn't classify him as a bisexual character, but
I feel like that's all they could get away with back in the day. I think that they were like, oh, okay, we're starting to get more controversial in movies. Well, he's bisexual. That's what we're going to call him. He's bisexual. But in all of the nuances and all of the lines and all of the reading in between the lines, I feel like he is a gay man and he has fallen in love with a woman because he has this deep relationship with her.
Yeah. If you go back to Source, the original author who created Cliff, who is the character that they ended up adapting into the stage musical, if you go back to the source, the author wrote Cliff as himself, and the author is a gay man. So if it was based on a real experience he had, then maybe
he probably very well fell in love with the woman.
Yeah, he probably
the one
did.
and only time. But it's neither here nor there.
But
it's just an observation.
I do see it very much that way, though. I do see it very much that way. I also hear from people that will say like, "Oh yeah," and then there's that threesome scene, and I'm always like, when did they have a threesome? Like I never took their scene together in the countryside as a threesome, but I've heard some people talk about that scene that way.
I think it's an easy way to describe it.
No,
but
that's not what happened. They don't. They never talk about that. That's what happened. They talk about them both having their dalliances with Max.
No, but I think what they're really talking about is just them spinning. But they're talking about the spinning and they're gazing at each other, but he gets sick and he falls asleep.
Yeah, legit.
But it's just they're a threesome of friends,
right?
I mean, in each other's eyes, and then you find out later. We'll get into that, but there was no threesome.
Yeah.
Also, this scene. Another movie that I watch a lot, a very campy fun film, Burlesque. Their love scene in the Burlesque film is almost identical to this scene in Cabaret, where they're in bed and they're talking, and at the same time Sally is singing Maybe This Time. In Burlesque, Christina Aguilera and I can't remember the actor's name, but he's very cute. They have their love scene and they're laying in bed, and then Christina is singing her song Bound to You in the club scenes, in the club setting. So I think that was also very much influenced. I mean, a lot of burlesque was influenced by Cabaret, but when I was watching that, I was like, oh, it's the love scene. It's they definitely took um
like inspiration from that.
inspiration, or they were paying homage to that out.
So while they're laying in bed together, and they make that joke about the wrong three girls, we jump from this song. I mean, we jump from this scene into the next song at the club that Sally's performing. That is the song "Maybe This Time." What are your thoughts on this song, babe?
Probably one of the best known songs from Cabaret that wasn't actually from Cabaret.
Mm-hmm.
It's definitely one that I knew beforehand, that when I did my research and learned more about the stage play, I was shocked to find out that it wasn't an actual song from
Mm-hmm.
Cabaret, but it fits so perfectly into the musical that it very well could have been written for the stage play.
Mm-hmm.
So, very great addition. And I know that I feel like it's a staple that they just have, it's in the show. After this movie, it's in the show, and it'll never be taken out of the show. And I do think it became one of Liza Minnelli's trademark songs. I think probably she actually recorded the song. She has a recording of the song before she was even in the film.
That's right. Yes.
She had already sang the song, but then they added it into the film, and I think it's since then has been one of her trademarks.
One of her staples.
Yeah, staples. There we go. While we're still talking about this number, can I just say this is by far my least favorite Liza Minnelli outfit.
Ooh,
It's the bell bottoms
and the weird blouse.
It's the weird like boho blouse and the bell bottoms. I don't know if this was actually a style from the 1930s, but it really doesn't feel like it is. It kind of reminds me how I think it still happens to this day, but when they made films, I feel especially from like the 50s, the 60s, and the 70s, there was always this feel of they wanted to make it look like the era, but they didn't want to make it look exactly like the era. Similar to how they take out the what's the word that we just learned today?
Diegetic?
The non-diegetic songs to make it more palatable for
film.
For film.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they add in a little taste of style and fashion from the day the
present day of the film. Mm-hmm.
To give you some examples, if you've ever seen Gene Eagles from 1957 with Kim Novak,
mm-hmm.
if you look at her hair and you look at some of these outfits, it looks like a movie that was made in 1957. It looks like the makeup of Kim Novak in 1957.
As opposed to
Gene Eagles, which was from like the 20s and 30s.
Got it.
Sorry, I should have said that. Gene Eagles is a biography
mm-hmm.
about an actress from back in the day. So they're going through like the carnival days, the old Broadway days, the vaudeville days, all of that. And it at points doesn't look like it.
Yeah, because it's the 50s.
1967 Bonnie and Clyde.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at Faye Dunaway's hair, it's not giving Bonnie and Clyde. It's giving 1967
I get what you're saying.
hair.
I get what you're saying. And so these costumes, some of these outfits that Liza's wearing, you're just like, these look a little too modern for me.
Yeah, like this, and we'll get to it later, definitely, but the Cabaret outfit. Another example I was going to say is Funny Girl, 1968 with Barbra Streisand. The hair in that one, it's very 60s Barbara. Like, it's not giving vaudeville Fanny Bryce. So I feel like it's a way to kind of add in modern fashion to kind of make it more, this is going to be my word of the day, palatable. I feel like I always get stuck on a word, and this is going to be the word I get stuck on. But you know what? Ladies and gentlemen, today's word is palatable, because that is what we're learning about today.
It's like Pee-wee's Playhouse, the word of the day.
How to make a musical palatable. So those were just some examples, and I feel like they're giving that with this Liza outfit, which I hate. I literally wrote hate 3 times.
Natalia invites Sally over to get some girl advice about Fritz. Fritz pounced and was informal with Natalia. The most formal woman out there, and he just went for it. The whole scene between them is great. The love versus infatuation of the body, or lust, but that's how Natalia says it. Infatuation of the body. I love that Sally gets a bit uncomfortable during this scene, but not uncomfortable with how Natalia is basically calling her out, being like, "Hey, you're an easy girl." I mean, she doesn't say it like that,
Yeah.
but the thing she's saying, like, "Well, you're a girl who knows this type of stuff. I'm sure you've had men pounce you plenty of times." So it's funny that she doesn't get uncomfortable with that. She gets uncomfortable when Natalia actually starts like crying.
It's so great because it literally switches, because Sally is entranced. She's so into this story. Her eyes are big. She's mouth wide. I think she might even be eating snacks or something.
Oh yeah, she is. Well, she's at Natalia's place, so she's got full service.
So she's hearing about this pouncing, and she's just like, "Ooh, like tell me more, tell me more." And then when Natalia starts to get emotional about it, because she's like, "No, I think I'm actually like, I don't want to, but I think I'm falling for this little gigolo who I think is just after my money, but I think I'm falling in love with him." It is so funny because then Sally wants out. She does not want anything to do with this emotion. And you know what it was reminding me of? I know that I always bring up the Housewives, but do you remember when on Roni, when Carol and Bethany were just barely becoming friends, and they go
shopping.
They go shopping, and they're in the store, and then Bethany has this breakdown about her life and how it's falling apart.
Yes.
Carol is Sally in that scene. She is like, "Get me out of here."
Yeah, she's like, "Do I need to do something?"
Yeah, she's like, "Oh God, let me get you a tissue." Oh God,
she grabs a napkin, linen napkin. I think she grabs a linen napkin.
She's
from
like,
the wall.
"It's okay, we'll buy it."
Yeah,
but she is like, "Oh God, like, do I need to hug
yes.
you? Like,
do you want to hug? Because I don't hug."
Yeah.
That is totally what this scene is.
It just reminded me, like, when you have this super emotional person and the person who doesn't know what to do in these situations, they don't know how to be comforting, and she's like, "Abort mission, get me out of here."
I'm not sure. I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
Are you and your sister kind of like that sometimes?
My sister 100%. Like, I'm better at emotional, like when someone's emotional, like if I'm with a friend and they get emotional, I'm better at being like, comforting to them and like listening to them and talking them through it and stuff. Kiki is like,
she'll like maneuver around it.
She's like, "I want to go to there."
Like, not like it's a bad quality or anything.
No, she's she will be there for you and she will sit by you, but I think she feels like she doesn't know the right thing to say.
Yeah, totally.
But sometimes just sitting there and being there is the right thing to do. You don't need to figure out like affirmations to give someone. Sometimes just being there is enough.
I agree. Natalia also mentions that Fritz is Christian and Natalia is Jewish. This is when during this scene is when she first brings that up. So that is obviously important to what is going on.
We are starting to get into we're getting to the B plot.
Absolutely.
I also want to say that when Sally is comforting Natalia in this scene and she's like, "Please don't cry, because I don't, if you cry, I'll cry." She says something, and the way she says it, she sounds just like her mom. Liza sounds just like Judy Garland in this. Like, I was like, whoa, that was Judy.
So you know why this is interesting? This is how you know the differences between musicals you've watched and musicals that I've watched, because you did that for this film. Which makes sense chronologically. That is her mom. She would sound like her mom. When I watched something like Meet Me in St. Louis, I think I spouted out like twice. I was like, "Oh my God, she sounds just like her daughter right there." Which of course now, and it makes sense now because they're both, we've had careers that we've been able to watch of theirs. But like, yeah, when I watched Meet Me in St. Louis, I was just like, "Oh my gosh, she sounds just like her daughter in that scene."
Well, your brain's going to go to what you remember, which you're going to go to Cabaret and say, "That sounds like Liza." Whereas I'm going to hear Dorothy Gale, or I'm going to hear Esther Blodgett, or I'm going to hear Esther Smith.
Not Esther Blodgett. No.
Well,
you're like, well, I do sometimes.
yeah. So,
yeah, too funny. That's really interesting that you say that.
but yeah, if anyone wants to go back and hear this, if you want to hear Liza sound just like her mommy,
it's the scene.
Yeah, it was very sweet.
Some actresses just are like that. There are some times where Kate Hudson will laugh just like her mom.
Yeah, or if you cover her eyes, then she looks like her mom.
They do have very different. That is the
they
one
have
quality.
Similar mouths and smiles,
similar
but
laughs.
they don't have the same eyes, but they're both gorgeous,
very much so.
But
both
yeah, sometimes
talented.
Yeah, sometimes you get glimpses of Goldie so much in Kate that it's like, oh my god, it's so cute.
Okay. Next, while picking up her laundry, Sally meets Maximilian, a rich married playboy and baron. And with that, I think we should cut part 1 of this episode.
I don't get to tell you what I think about Max. You know what? I'll wait till next episode because I got a lot to say about Max.
You've got to stay tuned. Listeners have to stay tuned till part 2 next week to hear our next character introduction who
shakes some shit up.
Yeah, definitely does. So yeah, everyone out there, thanks so much for listening. We're having a great time with this. We're at the middle point of our films.
I know, it's crazy.
I mean, hey,
this is when we need people to start requesting movies that are not on this list. I want to know what you want us to review because I have my list. I know you probably have your list. I want to know what people want to see.
Yeah, it's almost like we need, I don't know. I kind of was thinking we keep going with movie musicals, but we go on further, instead, like find a top 50s list and start pulling from that. But we'll see.
I don't want to go off another list.
We'll see.
I want to start going off of either our favorites or...
It's not as fun because then there are going to be movies that we want to see things we haven't all seen before.
That's true.
I don't want to only watch movies I love. That's no fun.
It could be movies that we hate too. We'd be like, oh, that movie? Oh God, we have to review it and just talk about it.
We'll see. That's a lot to think about. Either way, we
throw us some ideas.
Guys, throw some ideas. Comment on our posts. You can. Is that a plane? A moped? I don't know. I think it's a plane. Well, you can find us out there on social media:
Instagram, TikTok, at Hollywood Hubbies.
Go find us, follow, leave comments. Thank you guys so much for listening.
I mean, I even like the corrections. Go and correct me.
Right? I do too.
Sometimes we say names wrong. Like, I think the one that's ingrained in my mind, I don't want to go off on another tangent, but when we filmed Mary Poppins and I freaking called Elsa Lanchester, I called her Elsa Lancaster, and
you got red?
Yeah.
Did people come at you?
Well, I mean, not a lot, but enough for me to go, oh, shoot, did I say it wrong? And then I went back and I go, oh, her name is... this was not like I misread it like this once. I legit just am illiterate and read it all the time as Lancaster.
Oh, well, then that was a real correction.
I know. Well, I needed it.
No, exactly. That was a good correction. That was a good learning experience.
Yeah, but I just wish I would have gotten corrected on it before we actually filmed it because Jesus. Anyway.
All right, everyone. Stay tuned next week.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.